Hello, Jessie.
Hi, Sophie.
Welcome to Sunday Lunch, Reality Served, where we discuss reality TV, pop culture, and what has distracted us this week.
Oh, and so many things have distracted me this week. But before we get into all of that, Sophie, what is in your cup today for Sunday
Uh,
lunch?
well, I'm kind of cheating. I don't really have a cup. But as you know, I've been dancing with the porcelain lady all week. Is that to say?
That's a nice way of putting it.
I've been dancing with the porcelain lady all week. I've been quite unwell. I was hoping that a little Coke would give me a little energy. Although I'm so excited, I don't need a lot of energy. What's in your cup for Sunday lunch, Jessie?
Well, don't worry, I've got 2 cups, so we can just say that's one for each of us.
Oh,
Sip in that one. Yep, that looked attractive. And I've also got my standard iced coffee because, like a Coke Zero, like you just need a non-cigarette sometimes, and that's what iced coffee is.
that looks super fair. It almost like green. Is it?
Oh, it's just the lighting, I think, but it's like,
Oh,
okay, it's this Hunt and Brew brand. You can get them at Coles or Woolworths. Not that I support Colesworth, but you can get them there, and I'm addicted to them. I'm probably their biggest customer. In fact, if they'd like to sponsor me, it would save me a lot of money and probably cost them a lot of money.
okay. Put it out there. Let's add it to the show notes. We're gonna have show notes. So hello and welcome, everybody. This is our first episode. So, our first technical episode, we have filmed our introduction, getting to know us, what the pod is about, a little bit about us. So, if you haven't listened to that, please, you can go back one episode. And then today is our first, official of the format we hope to use. And so, of course, we're going to begin with our reality show catch up, our hot takes. I think the thing that is absolutely everywhere is Summer House right now. So I feel like we have to discuss that, which is so interesting because episode 3 of the reunion just dropped yesterday in Australia. So it's like, how funny to be doing our first podcast, but be talking about episode 3 of a reunion. But are you good to start there?
Oh, I'm so good to start there. I watched it yesterday. I just have so many opinions about this cast who I have only recently come to know, but I'm already extremely opinionated about them. So,
Actually, we can actually thank Summer House for the start of this podcast
yeah.
because we were texting last week or whatnot, and you said something about Summer House, and I said, I'm worried that I'm like a morally corrupt human because my view on the Summer House scandal is not in alignment with like the broader views out there. And that's when you said, you've said it before, we should do a podcast. And finally I was like, okay, let's do it.
It's like, this is the thing is that I think there'll be shades of different opinions with how we look at what this situation is. But I think we can both agree. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. I think we can both agree that this is not Scandival in any way, shape, or form.
Not Scandival in any, yeah, I agree. I, and I will even say, and I guess I'm prefacing that I listened to Rachel Lindsay on Watch What Happens Live last night. She has helped me evolve my perspective somewhat around sort of the intensity or the seriousness of it. But my view is no, it is absolutely not Scandival level. With Scandival, you had a couple who had been in a relationship for really 10 years, so similar timeline to Amanda and Kyle,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
who lived together, who were in essentially a de facto relationship. But you had cheating within the relationship with someone who was friends with both of them as well. But in that instance, you had Ariana completely unaware,
Yes.
and they were still in a relationship. Whereas my take is on with this one, they are both single people, but we can have that discussion.
Well, that's it. And I think probably maybe where the initial public discussion maybe got it wrong is, oh, Scandival, it's a friend and it's an ex. But actually, it's nothing to do with the romantic side of it. I don't think it's to do with the friendship between Sierra and Amanda. And as you said, I haven't listened to the Rachel Lindsay podcast, but I assume it's talking about the racial dimensions of that friendship and that romance and how that has now affected Sierra. P.S. Love Rachel Lindsay. Was slightly obsessed with her in The Bachelorette. I just honestly remember thinking she's going to be one of the most famous bachelorettes we'll ever see. She was that switched on, and I still love her. She's so opinionated. God, I love it.
I can't believe you even know who Rachel Lindsay is.
Love
Like,
like
this is also a discussion that we haven't had because this is our like our roots in Bachelor Nation,
yes.
and then moving over to the Bravo sphere. So I guess I'm just going to lay it out there. So I think it's Maya Angelou, but when somebody shows you who they are, believe them,
Believe
right? So
time. Don't wait for the second time.
exactly. So I'm looking at this. It's Kyle had cheated on Amanda when
Mhm.
they were dating, when they were engaged. He has told her time and time again that he doesn't want to settle down. He is not that kind of, marriage material. So it's like, Amanda, you knew who Kyle was. Um, that relationship was doomed from the start. Uh, West had told Ciara till he was blue in the face he does not want a relationship. He does not believe in monogamy. When they went down that path, a couple of years ago, it ended up in so much hurt. But actually, I agreed with what he did at that time, which was to say, look, I'm going to end it because I don't want what you want, and I want to end it now. Now, he probably shouldn't have let it get as far as he did, but so I feel like you're talking about Ciara, you're talking about Amanda, you're talking about two men who've shown you who they are. So I'm with you that the real scandal here is in the friendship because it's like two women who um, profess that they love each other and
Yeah.
that they have this close relationship. But
Yeah.
my take on it is I don't think that they're as good of friends as either of them thought they were because if so Amanda's in this kind of weird world where she's separated from her husband. She's living alone. She's out partying with West and a bunch of their friends and single friends. If she caught feelings for West, as she inevitably did,
Mm.
if they were good mates, she would have said to Ciara, hey, I actually think I'm catching feelings for West. What do you think? And it actually makes me think of what Jesse did with West when he's like, hey, if I kiss Ciara, would that be okay? And West was like, no, right? And then Ciara could have been like, no, dude, that's not okay. Or Ciara could have been like,
Have at
at
it.
your own risk,
Yeah.
right? Like, he is no good, but if that is what you need, girl, go for it. But
Yeah.
it's like the fact that that conversation didn't happen ahead of time is what's created all of this
Hurt.
trauma.
Yeah.
And so,
And
yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm like, it's very much about the friendship, but I'm really struggling with like the canceling of all of these humans, like they're these bad people, but then also like like putting up on pedestals other folks who've been total jerks for years just because they're a victim in this one scenario.
that is so listen, I came to Summer House from this scandal. It's actually also how I came to Vanderpump Rules was from the scandal. I was like, okay, something interesting's happened. I'll give this one a go. So I've watched season 10 of Summer House and now I'm back in season 1. But what I am really disliking is the discourse around Kyle. And I'll say this as a girl who chased many a dude that was very clear that they did not want a long-term relationship or they were just happy with the situationship. We've all been there in our 20s. I get it, Amanda, I get it. But Kyle is not a hero in their relationship. Yes, he was honest with her. And yes, she should have got the message, obviously. But he still has treated her so horribly. The way he speaks to her is not okay. And probably, from what I've seen, probably never has been. I accept that at certain points. Like, I can imagine living with her was a drag. She seems really negative. And I'm not saying that in a misogynistic way. I'm saying, like, I get really down if my partner is negative. Like, I'm a person that can't handle that. And I can see that in Kyle. He loves a frozen drink. He loves people to have
Mhm.
fun. He wants to party. He wants to work hard. He wants to play hard. That's actually all he wants. He's not particularly complicated. And again,
And
I'm
he's
not,
never lied about who he is either.
no. And I think but she's still right to leave him, and I'm happy that she finally did. What upsets me so much is that she drew all of this love and support for several years from Sierra, taking Sierra's energy, Sierra's love, Sierra's intellectual advice, and the effort that it took for Sierra to support Amanda. She took all that so that she could leave Kyle just to throw it in Sierra's face. afterwards. Like, I don't think Amanda has ever loved Sierra. I don't think Amanda has ever thought that they were very close friends the way that Sierra did, because Amanda doesn't seem, from what we know, to have many close female friends. And so in Amanda's mind, she's like, well, they haven't been together in 2 years. I can explore this. As she said on the reunion, I had an awakening. In her mind, she's like, what, emotionally 24 years old and just giving everything a go. But as you said, all she had to do was ring Sierra and say, this is getting weird and I'm having feelings and I want to talk to you about it.
So I'm with you. I just think that it is I don't think the friendship that we're all mourning
Mm.
was ever really there potentially. And potentially from Sarah's side, like you said, she put a lot of emotional labor
Yeah,
into Amanda. But then
yeah.
again, it's also like, but why? Like, was it reciprocal throughout the years or was it not? Was it a one-sided friendship? It just seems so out of balance. And I think just
Mm.
the point I was going to say about Kyle and sort of coming into this from Vanderpump, this to me, and this is part of the part that's really bugging me, is when Rochelle, um, was the villain in the Vanderpump scandal, all of a sudden James became the hero and
Yeah.
everybody loved James. And James was abusive to her. So he had
Horribly.
physically hurt her. Yeah, like she had a nose job and anyway, he had been all layers of abusive to her. And then because she is in this scandal, now all of a sudden he's the hero. And it's like, can't we hold two things at once? Whereas like she has made poor choices, but this doesn't make him a great guy. And this is what I'm thinking with Kyle too. It's like, okay, Kyle, like we still need to hold you accountable for your behavior. And at the same time, we can hold Amanda accountable for her behavior. It doesn't all like it's this polarization of like you've got to be good, you've got to be bad. And I think the discourse online is always going to go against the women. So I saw this meme that's like Amanda started as a side chick and she's ended as a side chick. And it's just like
That's
anyone would take
horribly
a chance.
misogynistic.
Yeah, so much to take a woman down. And so again, in this, I'm like, I don't think there are any heroes and villains. I think
No.
each one of them have made poor choices. And yes, some of them are more hurt and some are more accountable. Like, absolutely, Amanda needs to be held accountable. Wes needs to be held accountable. But I just really struggle with the pylon
Yeah.
and
For
just being
such
like,
a
you're
low
the
stakes situation. Like, I think this is the thing, is that Amanda and Kyle were very much over and Kyle knew. And to be honest, I think Kyle was relieved. It's not like, it's not like he was begging for the relationship, deeply in love with her. He wasn't. It had run its course so long ago, and they both knew it. She took the steps to leave. Great. I think honestly, none of them, maybe West, he seems a little odd to me, but I don't know his character that well. But it seems to me that they've all just been messy, right? And this is a cast that traditionally, from what I can tell, is messy. They're all hooking up with each other. And that's where I think Amanda got it emotionally wrong, is that it probably would have been okay for her to hook up with West if she'd spoken to Sierra. But in Amanda's mind, she's like, well, this is the show, this is what we do. And she's been doing that for her entire formative years. I do think that her emotional maturity probably was stunted once she got onto that show with Kyle and became Amanda and Kyle, and Amanda the victim, and da da da. And look, she is a victim of some of his behavior, so I'm not even saying that she's not. But I don't think what she's done is that bad, except for the element of, and this is something that you and I probably would need more education to talk about properly, but the way that it is for an African American woman to be interested in a white man, to be disrespected by him, to pour her energy into an incredibly close friend who she says she loves, who is also white, and then see those two white people come together and humiliate her. And I just can't imagine that the racial element wouldn't make it so much harder for her, Sierra,
I
I mean.
think that's the part that sort of changed me. And because they talked about it this season about the experience of like the black people to be a black person in the house and the um the additional layers of thinking and how you've got to present yourself and see like I absolutely um I don't even know what to say, empathize. I mean, I also consider myself a person of color, but it's very, very different in, even the Australian context, etc. But what like Rachel Lindsay was saying last night was the part that I hadn't picked up on, which is that Black women in America can be fetishized. And
Yes.
so they were saying, like, West in a way had fetishized
Mm.
Sierra. And then once he got that, he let her go. And the way that he's treating Amanda and like certain words and kindness that he's providing her now, he never provided to Sierra. And
Right.
so and I was like, oh, okay, that makes me feel differently again, because again, as Sarah said in the reunion, it's like, I don't want to have a white friend if we're not having discussion about color. So it's like, yes, Amanda, if you were Sierra's friend, you would have known that. You
You
would
would
have had that
have,
discussion with her.
and you would have understood that what you're doing is not just a silly little hookup. It's actually the result of your intense and enormous amount of white privilege, Amanda. The fact that you could spend your 20s on a reality show, marry this guy, always be financially taken care of, go from your dad to Kyle, now to West, and not even for 1 second understand or comprehend Sierra's life as a woman of color in America, which, as you say, in the Australian context, and I think, it's different. It's not better or worse. It's pretty
Yeah,
terrible.
it's just different. Yes.
Um, and for Sierra to feel fetishized both in a relationship and then in a friendship, where then it's like, oh, Amanda, you'll take all of her emotional labor and you'll enjoy having all of the things that Sierra brings to a relationship, and you'll pretend that you're learning and that you see her as a woman of color, but actually you're so quick to toss her aside. And that I cannot get on board with the man. Like, Amanda, I don't think she's necessarily a bad person. I just think she's extremely self-involved person. I don't think she's particularly ever thought about how anything feels for Sierra in that house, or how it feels for people of color in America in general.
And I feel like this is the conversation that isn't
Happening.
happening. I feel like the conversation online or the discourse that I have, it's all very, you know, simple and binary and attacking, where it's like actually what has happened, I don't think necessarily is the craziest thing, but it's
Mm.
also the response to what happened. So when she's sitting there at the reunion and her friend is sobbing and trying to tell her, like, this is what it has done to me. She is like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. And and she's not willing to, like, I heard a great definition of listening years ago, which is like lean in, listen, and be prepared to be changed by what you hear.
Yeah, prepare to be changed by what you hear. It is okay to change your mind. And I don't know how anyone could sit there and watch Sierra with the hurt that she was holding and then say, fuck off, Sierra, to her. I was so shocked when Amanda, in episode 1 of the reunion, by the way, guys, so she hadn't even been like worn down by hours of filming yet, as far as I know. She was immediately combative with Sierra. And Sierra can't be combative back. I mean, even Kyle, can we talk about the moment that Sierra put Amanda in her place, rightfully, pretty calmly, and Kyle goes, oh, that was a bit much. Are you kidding me? Don't you dare tell a Black woman that she's
And
too
good
much.
on Sarah, she nailed it. She's like, that's your wife, not mine. I was like, you
Exactly.
nailed it. So I think, so are you watching Southern Hospitality at all?
No, but I really plan to, and Southern Charm, because I know, wasn't there a crossover between Southern?
Massive crossover. So yeah, I've got another good girlfriend. I keep trying to get her to watch the Southern Charm of it all. But yeah, so you had Paige on Summer House and Craig from Southern Charm, who had a long-term relationship because they met on Winter House, which I miss Winter House, because on Winter House they would also have Below Deck folk as well. They would have all of them. Anyway, I loved it. So for context, Southern Charm is almost like the Housewives version, and then Southern Hospitality is like the Vanderpump Rules version.
That makes sense, because I always wondered why there was 2 of them, and now I can put them into context and start watching them.
Yes. So Southern Hospitality is like the workers of one of the characters or people from Southern Charm, although she's not really in it anymore.
It's probably really good then. I need.
It is. And I saw something online the other day saying, like, if you're not watching Southern Hospitality, it's like it's really like OG Vanderpump Rules.
Oh,
And it's just these like young people with like a genuine lack of self-awareness. But there was a really similar situation, and I'm not up to date with Southern Hospitality yet, but there is a girl on there called Emmy, just this beautiful blonde, white girl
mm,
who had a fight with a friend of hers for years, Bradley, and Bradley's black. But in that argument, she had told production, I feel scared. And ex exactly. And so, it was off season, whatever, and then they came back, and he's trying to say to her, she's like, "I did feel scared. You sent me these horrible messages." But everyone's trying to say to her, "Did you actually think he was gonna hurt you?" And she's like, "Well, no." But it's like, beyond that, Emmy, please listen, that when you make an allegation against a black man in America, they could be arrested, they could be shot, they could be set to, like, the actual repercussions. Like, if somebody says to, like, Kyle, "I'm scared," nobody cares.
nobody.
And, Kyle's just this innocent little, and so I think
Oh, he
it's been,
screams at everyone too. He's allowed to explode off his nut every episode,
yeah, he
Kyle.
has total rage issues.
Yeah. But
So I feel like it was similarly, I'm like, how are we still having this discussion where, again, to Emmy, I'm like, why can't you understand what he is trying to tell you from his perspective? And that's what I'm struggling with the Amanda of it all. And just a slight tangent, because you know how they kind of like, how does West get all these girls?
how does he?
Well,
Ugh.
I was thinking about it, and I was going to Google it before, and then I didn't have time, but I was like, God, did I get like Wested? Because in the very first episode, you'd have to go back and watch it, that he gets introduced to Summer House. They're doing his interviews, and he said something really pro women. And I can't remember what it was, but it was something like, my mum's like a nurse, like my mum's a nurse. So maybe that meant something to me. And he's like, I have so much respect for women because of X. So he said all of these things. And I have, when you first meet someone, you angel or devil them. So
Yes.
I angeled West from the start. And so it only just occurred to me last night, because I was reading something online that said his inability to have genuine connection with people, the way he fills it in is he takes people home. So he took Kyle to his home, he took Sierra to his home, he took Miha to his home, and he creates connection because he can't do it. He does it via his family. And I was like, I think that's what happened to me. Like, he told me some really great stuff about his mum, and then I've been like, therefore, you are a good guy this whole time.
Yes, and you give him the benefit of the doubt because you, as you said, angeled him from the get-go. I
Yes.
mean, I tend to devil people from the get-go, except for I have this weakness when it comes to like really bubbly, possibly narcissistic women on Bravo, where I'm like, she's so fun and bubbly. I'd love to hang out with her. Oh, they're all being mean to her. They're just jealous. She's just a really happy, bubbly person. And sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong. But back
Do you
to
have an example? Like, who would one be?
Rosie is my current bubbly girl that I like. And I think Kelsey's being friggin' mean to her, and we can have this discussion. But I want to just quickly return to what you said about how why couldn't that woman understand that saying I'm scared to a black man has greater repercussions than if you say I'm scared because a white man sent you messages. And why can't we hold two things to be true? And I think it's really we are all at a level of interconnectedness thanks to the bloody internet that we all have to learn how to do that. Two things can be true, three things can be true. We have to be able to go through the layers of things because yes, if a woman feels scared, we should believe her, right? That's and we all feel strongly about, men should not be sending abusive or threatening text messages. However, the intersection of race in misogyny and feminism is an important intersection because as a white woman, I'm sure she potentially has a better time of it than a black man in America and then a
Especially
black
living in the South in Charleston, but,
that right. Yeah, I was
regardless.
exactly in that specific context for being blonde in Charleston, probably wealthy. And then a black woman trying to not have misogyny come her way, like she's struggling even more. And I want people to understand, I suppose, and these are the kinds of tricky discussions that I feel comfortable having, particularly with you. And I'm very open to everyone's comments and feedback who decide to listen to this. But I do think it's important to talk about these things because saying we believe women, which I do, it- but there are limits and conditions on the things that you can do in recognition of other people's not difficulties, but other people's, if you're in a minority or, you're LGBTQI plus, etc. As women of a certain color, I'm white. I know that you are a person of color. I need to take that into account. Whether or not a white man has harassed me or my bosses have been sexually harassing, which they have, and which I've had horrible men say horrible things to me, none of that is okay. But in a position over here, we have to accept that circumstances can be altered and the social fabric is altered because of these different things to consider. And it's okay to say that. It doesn't mean that that man can send her mean messages. He shouldn't. But maybe
There's
you
still
also recognize it goes both ways in terms of expressing your discomfort. Try to make sure that you're not committing something that you don't want be committed to you. Ugh.
exactly. So it's like you can defend yourself without causing harm to another
Yeah.
human in an unintended way, which
Yeah.
is, and again, ignorance is not an excuse. I do believe it was unintended, but it's the exact same with Amanda. It's like, yes, you are ignorant, and therefore you are causing pain, which I personally, even though it's not I was sort of willing to give the pass on because I'm like, you know what? She's just got out of this abusive relationship. She's out having drinks. She caught feels with this guy. So I'm like, why is everyone being so dramatic? But it's the now of it all. It's like people are taking the time to try to educate you on maybe nuances and, deeper layers that you weren't even aware of. But now that you are aware of it, what are you going to say now?
Yes.
Um,
Don't say
and
fuck off.
don't say fuck off. Exactly. Yeah. So where I feel like I started on this because I love the podcast Bravo and Cocktails, and they've got a site where people could, it's like a subscription site, and I wrote this whole thing at the start about like how I feel. I should have brought it up, and crickets. Like nobody said anything because I was just so not on the same wavelength as everyone with this.
Yeah.
And I do feel like I've come around. So maybe I just wasn't picking up all the subtleties at the start, but I'm somewhat getting it now. But I will say again, I can't handle a lack of nuance in discussion, and I can't handle the pile on and just saying that somebody is good or bad. And, people
Never
saying
true.
horrible things. Like I remember during Scandival, someone even said, like a podcast I was listening to, they're like, well, if Raquel ever moved to my town, I wouldn't be doing carpool with her kids or whatever. I'm like, why
Come
are you
on.
punishing someone's future unborn children? Like, she
No.
made a mistake as a 20-something-year-old. Like,
Can I tell you the mistakes I made? If I honestly
let me not tell you the mistakes I've made.
no, you haven't. I mean, and I probably haven't told you, we can do that later, but the amount of stupid
Stupid
things I did,
decisions.
stupid decisions, unsafe decisions in my 20s, unsafe, like, sexual situations that I put myself in. Sorry, mum. Sorry, Auntie Shesh. But, like, things that I did, like, I mean, and if something had happened to me, I'm sure the discourse would have been, well, that's her fault for picking up this guy and going back to his place. And I would have understood that. But we make these ridiculous decisions in our 20s because we're growing and learning and we're idiots. And it's not to say, again, not to say that Amanda shouldn't be listening to Sierra. In fact, the only person she should be listening to in this situation is actually Sierra. And that's the mistake she's made. But in terms of hooking up with West and doing something stupid, this woman is 34. So this is embarrassing. However, she's not really 34. Like,
Yeah, they do talk about that, which is that, the age in which you became famous, you get stunted. But exactly that. And it's like, when your brain isn't fully developed. And that was, again, I saw a meme the other day that's like, I was drunk, blacked out in the park as a kid when my mum thought I was at Susie's, and now that's why my kids are on Life 360. And I think about that all the time because it was like the stuff that we got away with because there was no really controls around it. But then now the way I overparent my girls, I'm like, oh, are they going to get a chance to make the mistakes that allow them to form as fully? Because, you've got to make mistakes so that you can learn and grow. Anyway, I know it's another tangent, and Amanda is 34, but
no, but that's tough. And she is 34, but she is emotionally stunted and she's been under the shadow of Kyle this whole time. Yes, probably by her choice. I mean, we can debate that all day long. But at the end of the day, she's going to make, she's divorcing, she's going to make ridiculous decisions, right? And you know what? We support women's rights, we support women's wrongs. She's going to make many wrong decisions. West is the first of a long line of wrong decisions that Amanda is going to make. It was the worst possible wrong decision she could have made first, and she's handled it poorly, but it's not going to last. And, I suppose to maybe end on a more positive note, like I look at Sierra and Mia. Oh my God, can we just have a moment for Mia? She's
I mean,
amazing.
she's perfection.
She's perfection. Thank you. I was showing her to Charlie. Sounds so weird. I was, my favorite latest. I was like, look at this. And I was trying to explain, I was like, she was married to him and then they dated 2 years ago and now she's betrayed her by hooking up with him and he's disgusting. But look at this other person who's unrelated to all of this called Mia, who is the most stunning woman I've ever seen and I've imprinted on her. You know what I really loved about Mia? I loved her from the start. She's got a beautiful, warm energy and she's gorgeous and smart. But I loved the way she stood up for Sierra. That is a best friend. That is support.
That is friendship. And
Yeah.
it's like, if something happened between Sierra and Mia, I would be devastated because I'm like, that to me is what a real friendship looks like. I don't feel like Amanda's relationships, even with sort of Paige and all, even I don't think she has that. So I guess maybe that's why I feel less involved. And I don't know if you saw it, but Mia, I love the relationship that Sierra, Mia and KJ have all got together.
Love
But
it.
like this like little family unit. And then
Yeah.
they found the photo of like KJ as a baby being held by Mia's older sister at university. But I was like, Mia has shown such vulnerability about it because she's like, I have to create every new thing. I have to create a new tradition because I don't have my mum. So
Yeah.
it's like, I have to create a new Christmas. I have to create a new, and I was like, I've never really thought about it like that before, where it's like, it's not just the loss or the mourning, but it's like each of those things. I mean, I imagine you also relate. I haven't lost a parent yet. Touch wood, that's weird. But I just feel like Mia coming into the show new and showing such level of vulnerability that when my own good girlfriend is talking about her feelings, I'm like leaning on Mia for advice. Anyway, yeah, yeah.
But because she is so intelligent and lovely, like that advice is so spot on. And I mean, I was in tears quite a bit when she was talking about losing her mum. You've alluded to, I've lost dad. He died a couple of years ago, and my mum is getting married in 3 weeks, which we will be at the wedding to a new man. And so she's creating new traditions for herself. And I completely related to that. I was thinking, like, I've even had discussions with you, like, can Charlie and I have family Christmas with you guys now? Because that parental constant has now changed. Um, I also really loved, and I think it's important for the audience to see the familial relationship between KJ and Sierra and Mia and how instant it was because they knew that they would have had similar experiences
Yeah,
growing up.
shared experiences or
Yeah.
yeah.
There's an emotional shorthand between the 3 of them that I found beautiful to watch. I love KJ, by the way. I also really like Dara, and she delivered a blistering takedown in a very calm manner, which was amazing, and I was happy to see they're still
That's
together.
the discourse I love. She was clear,
Mm.
but she was kind. And
Yeah.
it's like you don't have to be harsh. It was the same as not Jamie, what is her name? The one that said, Sarah said to Amanda, "Come and sit with me. Are you okay?"
Right, yes.
Yes.
Love
She
Kate.
can say, "I do not trust this man. I do not agree what you're doing, but I'm here for you as a friend." It's like you can be clear whilst also being kind. And I think, just to probably a big tangent, but that is such the power of diversity,
Yeah,
but also inclusion, because when there was only one Black person or one Hispanic person or one, they were always isolated in that house. And to
yeah.
actually have a group, so because you've always had a predominantly white based house, those folks always just felt at home. And to actually see some proper level of diversity, and um, like in respect to the real community and the real world,
Yeah.
um, being reflected within the house, to see those folks flourish with that instant support, connection, culture. I mean, that's been amazing. Like,
It has, and it's
yeah,
maybe we also relate to that quite a bit. Sorry, everyone, I'm moving around. Um, because it's not, and it's nowhere near the level. I mean, but you feel when you do feel different, you do feel like an outsider where you live. I mean, when I meet another Lebanese person, Charlie cannot get over the change that comes over me. The excitement, the shorthand of the food, the aunties, the grandparents, the way that everyone is in a Lebanese family. Like you just immediately have a bond with this person you've never met. You know, you would feel the same, I imagine, or shades of different experience being half Pakistani and what that has meant growing up in Queensland, which I'm sorry, it's not easy.
We should give like a little context. So, our mums, who were sisters and they have a brother as well, grew up in the smallest town in New South Wales. Our granddad owned the pub and our granny like ran the dress shop, and they were like literally the most of, English and Irish descent. And they, anyway, so my mum married a Pakistani man, your mum married a Lebanese man, and our uncle married a Vietnamese lady. So it's like, and although they didn't have children, we have such diversity
You know,
within our family, and again, our experiences. And yeah, and absolutely, growing up in Brisbane, like my brother's name is Kamal, and my heart breaks for him. He was mercilessly bullied. I'm so lucky that I had a name that was, I guess, white passing, or even like people think you're Italian, or they attribute to something that's considered okay. And then particularly like,
it's horrible, isn't it? Like my brother's called Habib and he had the same situation as Kamal where he got bullied and bullied and bullied. And it's like, and I was Jessica, so I got a pass.
but yes, I guess that's a bit of a chat about Summer House. I would suggest our reality recaps won't always be so deep in a sense, but I suppose like think that is kind of what we want to do as well, which is like hold um a multi-nuanced discussion about these things rather than just what you see online, which is, getting the clicks or whatever just to, attack or hate someone or put someone in a specific pigeonhole. So,
I agree. I love being able to talk about the human nature of it all, the parts of it that are coming from different experiences in different places, and the way different people are built emotionally is so fascinating. It's why I can't get enough of these shows, and they're just honestly, the fact that they give us so much of their real emotion is wild to me because I'm such a private emotional person. I don't think I could do that.
mm,
Well, I think we've wrapped up Summer House. Look, do you think that Amanda and West will come back for next season, and do you think they'll still be together by then?
oh, so in the preview for next week, did you see how he says to Kyle? So at the end of the reunion, they've got this extra special because during the reunion, he said that, they're not using the word love and blah, blah, blah. But then for next week, apparently he says, not apparently, he says to Kyle, do you want the truth or not truth? Kyle says, tell me the truth. And he says, I've loved her for a long time.
Oh, he's been in love with her for a long time. That
And
makes
so
sense.
again, like, I want to believe, I know I'm not always the best judge of character, but I'm like, but maybe he has.
I think because, okay, that makes sense to me. I didn't see that clip. I must have clicked out of it. But I've loved her for a really long time means he has, probably has. And it explains why he was so in her corner in season 10. He was he was the first one to comfort her. He was the first one to say, don't speak to Amanda like that. Don't say fuck you to Amanda. Like it really, you could tell. Even I at the time, I was like, he likes her because like, how is she not going to fall in love with him? He's the only one defending her.
And this is why it might be good for him in the sense that he's finally found someone that he loves and might be willing to settle down with. But for her, it's like just another passive thing. It's like another guy that's just decided that he likes you and you're just going to go with that because it's the easiest. It's like, no,
Yeah.
girl, no. Be single, go out, live your life, figure out who you are. Like
Yeah.
become a fully like functioning human and then make a decision. Is this the guy for me? But yeah, so I don't know, but I think after next week's bonus episode, I think we'll have a little more info. What do you think?
Maybe a bit more clarity. I think if he really did love her for a long time, being with her now is really selfish because the one thing I did agree with Kyle on is that he said, you've isolated her from everything.
Correct. And she's way too vulnerable right now to be jumping into something. So that isn't love, is it?
No, and to be
If
that
you love something, set it free. If it returns to you, it was meant to be.
meant to be. Truly, I think it's the only thing Kyle pretty well got right. He's like, she's vulnerable and you've isolated her now. And I'm so sad that you've done that. And I think if West really did take 2 seconds to think about anyone but himself, and he's loved her for that long, which I believe he feels that he has, um, he would have said to her, "I love you. I'm not going anywhere when you're ready." It's not the
Agreed.
right time. It's always timing. My mum always said that it's in the timing and you should start as you mean to go on, and you can't start a relationship like this.
That is the best. Again, it happened at one of those Sunday lunches out on the deck. The best relationship advice anyone has ever given me my whole life is your mum. And she said to me, Sophie, start any relationship the way you mean to finish it. And I've never forgotten it. It's like, don't put up with something at the start because you think that they're going to change or whatnot. It's like, whatever you accept at the start is what you'll be accepting in 25 years.
Yep.
So be careful with your choices.
Yeah,
Um,
and set your standard at the start. And despite that incredible advice that I was also given, I still had 0 standards for myself until I went to therapy in my 30s. So take that as a lesson, ladies.
Make that as a lesson. Um,
All right.
now, so I think that can be our wrap on Summer House this week. I think it is a very nuanced conversation. I think I can speak for you, Jessie. We love to learn. So if there's
Yeah.
anything that we have said or that has triggered thoughts, like let us know, because we would love to have that discussion and continue to learn and grow. And something we're thinking about as well is like, how do we create a community where we can have conversation and discourse about these things, whether it's best to do it via Instagram or whether it's like a closed Facebook page or something. That's something we're thinking about as well. But in the meanwhile, DMs work, etc. Let us know what you think. We want to do quite the reality rundown next week with Rhode Island, with the city, with Below Deck. Like there's so much coming.
So, so there's so many good shows I love in the city. I'm loving Rhode Island. It's just, yeah, it's
Because like, and I really want to talk about Below Deck. Like I really, really do. But I know we don't have time because I know we're going to move on to the part where we talk about what's been keeping us distracted this week.
Oh my gosh. So we have to share with you guys what's distracting us this week, because Sophie is an ADHD queen. A diva has distractions. And I am an author, which means I am always procrastinating. I should be writing book number 3 right now. I'm under deadline, but I would rather talk about reality shows. Well, that's not true. I love doing both. But
Are we allowed to tell people that you've got
oh,
signed another 2-book deal? Is that a secret?
why not? I got a message from my agent last night actually saying the deal was done.
So Jessie originally secured a 2-book deal. I was telling my girlfriends about this and they're like, how does one do that? And I'm like, well, first you got an agent and our agent's in London. Anyway, it's all so fancy. But we had the 2-book deal. Obviously the farm came out. It was phenomenal. We're just about to get the burn. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, the burn.
And then you've secured another 2-book deal. And that's
I'm
my
so
cousin, everyone.
sorry.
That's so exciting.
Thank you. It's such a, like, long-held dream. Like, I don't even know how it's happened either. I don't know who that's happening to me, but, I'm very lucky and I'm very excited, and I have so many more book ideas. I got another one last night. So there'll be, as long as someone wants to publish me, I'll be issuing stories. But I was very distracted. A friend sent me something last week and I'm still thinking about it, and it's not particularly deep, Sophie and listeners, so don't worry. But I really wanna know what Sophie would choose. So, like, and also, like, why I chose the things I chose. So a friend of mine, actually from Brisbane, and she sent me this little Instagram meme, and it gave me a list of 7 things and it said choose only 2. And the list of 7 things, number 1 was a flat stomach. Number
I
2
have
was,
wanted a flat stomach my entire life. It has been my whole life's purpose
I
to
know,
try
I
and
was
get
like,
a flat. Okay, I'll
you
stop.
don't even need to read the rest of the list.
Yeah,
Why are we
done.
all
Lock it in. 2 of
flat?
those, please.
Alcohol without hangovers.
Oh,
Free holidays every year. I know my friend Brooke would choose that. Good sleep every night. Chocolate is calorie free. You can have a paid personal assistant for life, or you can have unlimited cash for clothes.
oh, what devil created this list in which and
But
would
why
try and make us
with
choose?
flat stomach? What's wrong with us? It's a beauty standard and it's bullshit. And
I,
the first one I chose to.
I because of my bloating,
Yeah.
my 13-year-old knows the word bloating. She's like,
Well,
sorry, mum, I'm bloated. I'm like, what do you know that word? But I have been asked if I'm pregnant or congratulated so many times in my life
What?
because of the way, yes, because like
Oh,
I've got little arms and legs, but my stomach will become big.
yeah.
And I remember once at work I had to go to the AMBO for like a random drug test. And
Mm.
like I sat down to do it and he's like, "And when are you due?" And
Oh,
I wanted to be a man and be like, "Fuck off." And I was like, "Oh no, it's just my body shape." I had someone at Airlie Beach once walk up to me. I was actually like drinking beer and smoking a cigarette, and they're like, "I don't think that's good for the baby." And I was like, "Fuck off." We haven't decided if we're swearing on here yet or not. But
you know,
anyway,
I am going to say the F word.
so yeah, so that one is a huge one for me. But okay, so do you want me to tell you what my two are? Or do you want to tell me your two?
Or what would, or how about this? Because I feel like flat stomach is what every woman would choose. We can take it out of the list, right?
Ooh.
And give us two from the rest of the list, which was alcohol without hangovers, free holidays every year, good sleep every night, chocolates calorie free, paid personal assistant, unlimited cash for clothes. I reckon we can choose two out of that.
Okay, so for me, I don't really like shopping, so that makes it easy. I
So,
have just spent the last 5, nearly 6 days vomiting and doing
mm.
the dancing with the porcelain lady. Not that it was hangover related, but it just reminded me. So yes, I think I would do alcohol without hangovers for sure, and I think a paid personal assistant because I'm so scattered and I feel like I would eat better. I would do a whole bunch of things if like someone would take care of me.
Oh,
Um,
I'll take care of you.
you live in Tasmania.
That was such an empty promise.
But yeah, so I think, yeah, so for me, and you know what, I'm going to stick with the rules.
She's a rules queen, you guys. She's made it up.
No, I was about to like, just like, that's it. I'm doing flat stomach but I'm
Personal
not, I'm not sticking with the rules. I'm going to have a flat stomach. I'm going to have alcohol without hangovers and I'm going to have a personal assistant. What about you?
I 100% would have expected you to pick alcohol without hangovers, but I thought you would pick the other thing that I'm going to pick, which is good sleep every night.
I get the best sleep, Jessie.
Oh,
I
not an
sleep.
insomniac.
I because they keep like even I'm on ADHD medication.
Yes.
I still sleep. I can have a nap for 2 hours in the day, and then I still sleep well at night. Like I'm the queen of sleeping. We met at 10 a.m. this morning. I got up at 6, and
Yeah.
then after the kids went to school, I had like a 45-minute nap at 9 a.m. just before
Uh,
we dialed in here. Like I am.
Tell everyone your word for naps, please.
Oh my gosh! So I spoke to my sister about it, and I've got it all wrong.
Oh,
So we call naps noo-noos in our house. Like you're going noo-noo, noo-noo now, noo-noo now. Anyway, I was like, I got that from you because you said that with your kids. And she's like, that wasn't the word. Our word was lulu. She's like, noo-noo means something else.
oh. So you thought it was a Pakistani word you got from your older sister?
Well, because when my niece that just got married, we did
Yes.
a lot of care for her when she was little because um so she's I don't know what our at 13, I don't know what our age gap is. I think
Yes. But
it's
she was very little when we were in
So
like
she was
our
very little. So when we give her milk, my sister would be like, that's doo-doo, doo-doo, which is like Pakistani, I think for milk is dood. And then Lulu was like something to do with sleep. So and now you say, because you've adopted it too.
I have, because my husband loves to take naps. And so he picked up noo-noos when we had our first ever Christmas in July. And you said, Charlie, do you need a noo-noo? And I was like, you know what? That probably is what he needs.
He just needs a little nunu. Well, we will just go with it because in my whole family, it's still nunu times.
It's like noo-noo and nap. So I can kind of see how you made
Yes.
that connection make sense. But I
Thank
would
you.
pick good sleep every night because I'm an insomniac. I've never been a good sleeper ever in my life. I have to be so medicated to sleep. I have
Oh,
multiple medication. And the worst part is, Sophie, is that I love going to sleep. There is
yes.
nothing I enjoy more. Maybe a book or like a cuddle up and watch a movie. But there's nothing more relaxing to me than when you go and lie down and you're so comfortable in your bed and you're just drifting off to sleep. And yet, like, it never happens for me ever. So I would pick good sleep every night and a flat stomach. And if I'm cheating on the rules, I would honestly pick a paid personal assistant for life too, because like you, we are perimenopausal women in crisis. We are once again in crisis. And I do feel like if they were a good PA, like one of those ones that could anticipate what you need. So basically, if they could be like our husbands, I would choose
Yes,
the personal assistant.
but their full-time job. Because unfortunately, our husbands, whilst they do their best to meet all of our needs, they actually have jobs. So
They do have jobs, which is
disappointing.
unfortunate
Mm.
for us. Okay, well, that was distracting me a lot this week. So I'm glad we could talk about it because, again, I didn't have anyone to talk about it with. And I
But
was
I'm here. Okay. And so I actually think my distractions from this week maybe might even help you with yours. So I had two things that I wanted to share as distractions. Obviously, I actually feel like I've got a whole list. Um, this isn't even on my list, but did you see on Instagram this morning they now have Instagram maps? And
no, you were saying something about apps. I'm like, what is this?
yeah, so I just got, because I know Snapchat has Snap Maps, but anyway, I got on this morning. It's like, would you like everybody to know where you are? And would you like to, anyway, so I'm like, oh, I've got to find out more about that. What is actually keeping me distracted, and I say I get really good sleep, is makeup. So for my niece's wedding, I had not had my makeup done for 15 years, like done for me. I don't think I have. And makeup has changed so much in 15 years. So
Yeah.
when I got home from having the makeup done, because I was like speechless, like, I think I look like Kim Kardashian. Anyway, I
You
went
look
in to show my girls each separately and independently. They both said, Mum, you look like James Charles. And
oh,
I was like,
actually a big compliment, I think.
I'm taking that as a compliment. I mean, this is amazing. So I have been unwell, so I haven't been sleeping as well as I normally do because I'm up and down constantly. So last night, it actually just arrived when we took a little break.
Did you
I went
oh,
and ordered a bunch of stuff from Mecca, and I'm going to try and like learn to like do my makeup like the young people. So that's keeping me distracted, as well as, are you a Swiftie?
God, no.
Oh,
This is
so
all
Taylor Swift's wedding, Madison Square Garden. Then last night I was watching on TikTok, and she's done this song for Toy Story, but then she did a duet with is it Randy, the original guy that sings like "You've Got a Friend in Me," and it's like Taylor Swift and him did
oh,
a. It was so beautiful on piano. Anyway, that's what's distracting me.
I bet. And look, when I say I'm not a Swiftie, I'm not, but I'm always happy to hear about whatever people want to talk about. Like,
Good.
I'm not like judgy about topics. And I feel like if I'd had kids, I would be a Swiftie. I feel like there's this beautiful thing between mothers and daughters because I've seen my other close friends do this. And they all get like a lot of pleasure out of singing songs together and it's very inclusive and all of that. So I totally get it. But I was just too
You're
old. I
kind.
came of age in the bloody Nirvana era and I've never gotten myself up to date. No,
Mm.
God, it's so distracted. And I just honestly, is she married yet? Has the wedding
No, so this is the whole thing. Everyone thinks it's happening in summer. It's any day, but then they're saying maybe she's doing it at Madison Square Garden, because she did say we're going to have a big wedding. Everyone's invited. So rather than doing the secret, so we're on wedding watch right now, essentially.
oh,
And yeah, I
her
didn't even get. It wasn't until we came back from Canada. Actually, I think it was her Red album. So I was sort of late coming into her as well. Um, but I'm fascinated by her.
she's a whole other thing. Like
She's a
my
whole
other
juggernaut.
yeah.
She's a fascinating case study.
Yeah. I actually this is a fun fact. I have a mention of Taylor Swift in my book that's coming out at the end of August, The Burn. Uh,
Ooh.
cheap promo for The Burn. But
Get it,
yeah,
honey?
had a reference to her, like, and it's set in 2030. And one of the editors wrote, "Oh, you might want to change this to Chapel Rowan because Taylor Swift will be 40 by then and probably irrelevant." And I was like, I don't think mate, it's
No.
Taylor Swift. She's $1 billion corporation. I'm pretty sure in 3 years people will still be listening to her.
Yeah, and overnight they've just said they think she's worth 2 billion, and the highest, like, something of all time for women. Like, it's, yeah, she is like the Beatles.
Yeah.
People you're never going to forget.
You're never going to forget.
That is I think your reference is correct in your book.
Thank you.
I will fight your editor.
And I did include Chapel Rowan elsewhere in the book and Sabrina Carpenter. So I was like, I'm not out of touch just yet. But all right, we're closing in on an hour for this episode, which is great. I'm going to make my recommendations now. And I love this recommendation because technically I don't think it's Bravo, but as Soph said, like we watch all of our Bravo shows through Hey You here. And so we get other production companies' reality shows too. And one of them is Ladies of London, The New Reign. I cannot recommend this show enough. It has everything that I love in it. It has rich ladies, but it also has rich ladies that have been down on their luck. And it also has like ladies with weird pets. And it also has like the most gorgeous, like snooty, rich, I think, Prince Mark Francis from Made in Chelsea. And it has London and all the champagne bars and beautiful Cotswold places you could ever
Oh,
want.
that's right. You lived in London, so that must feel really like
Oh,
nostalgic for you in a way as well.
well, nostalgic for the life I didn't have because
Yeah.
that they're definitely living the life I would have loved to have in London.
Mm.
And I have to say, Lady Martha Sitwell, who is kind of the anchor of the show, I don't think anyone expected her to be, but everyone just loves her because she has had the most difficult life. I think, honestly, like not to armchair diagnose, but I feel like she was an ADHD diva as well, and just no one ever supported her neurospiciness. And so she ended up being homeless. You know, she's from this rich family. She was homeless and she was discovered by Vivienne Westwood, the designer, and made into a model because her bone structure is perfection.
Yeah, perfection.
She looks like a model from the 50s. I think she's like my age. She's like mid 40s. Um, she ended up marrying two rich guys that both screwed her out of money. And she now lives in this little house in London that she calls the Grottage instead of a cottage. She's so gorgeous. And I just have to share that I have noticed that she replies to all her Instagram comments. So I was like, I'm going to try this. So I went on there and I made a comment and she's replied twice. I love her. So
She is the
watch
queen.
Ladies of London New Reign. It is just amazing.
I will second that. Yeah, Ladies of London, incredible. I saw the people were making, sort of comparisons between her and Sonia Morgan, which to some extent I can see, right? It's like the lady who had it all and then lost it all or whatever. But there's a real sort of sadness to Sonia that isn't there. I mean, it is in a way, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's anyway, I can see it, but I also, yeah, my obsession with her is real. And after you commented on her, so I gave it a crack, and then somebody else said she needs to do a hair tutorial. And she said, yes, I do, because I want to know how those ladies, the other lady does it too, are getting those good, I just, like, I love that sort of, is it 50s, 40s hair? Anyway, it's
40s
stunning.
or 50s, that bob, but it's a
Oh,
curled bob.
curled.
Oh, her fashion too. Like, and I think what's so beautiful about this again is that she's a mid-40s woman. She's not your typical look of what you would consider beautiful, especially not in Australia. We're used to the Elle Macphersons, like the tall, glamazon Amazonian women with perfect bodies. Like Martha is this soft, beautiful,
She is soft.
beautiful bone structure. She's tiny. She looks like something from another like generation or
Yeah,
another.
an era gone by, and that is what is, and she lives in her own world. Like she
Yeah.
has a pet magpie. Like it is just, yes, I absolutely agree with that. And do you have any other recommendations for us?
The other recommendation I was going to make is that if you are not into Substack, you should start. There's a friend of mine who runs Things I'm Obsessed With on Instagram,
I
and
love that page. I
it's
love that page.
oh my God. So I'm recommending that, obviously, but she has a huge following. So, like, she doesn't need me.
Yeah.
She also runs a Substack. So you should go and follow hers. And also Naima Brown, who is an author I really like. She wrote Mother Tongue, which was a fantastic book, has a Substack called Mad Women because we're all angry. And so all her articles are just different, interesting things in history and why we should all be mad about it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get mad with you. So go check that out.
Love being mad. Okay, excellent. And now listen, um, are we gonna have show notes or something where these people can
Yes,
find these? Okay.
absolutely. I think we are, not only are we planning to, I think we will be forced into filling out show notes.
I know, look at them all. Okay, so quickly, I'm going to do my recommendations of the week. So, I gave up like social media and alcohol, and for 100 days at the start of the year. And what ensued was my love affair with the Guardian crosswords.
Oh,
So, in our family, so we do Wordle, like so the New York Times, we do Wordle, um, and connections and strands
great.
every day, and we send them back and forth, but I needed more. I need more. And so I found the Guardian crosswords, which are all free. And I'm not great at crosswords, and this is really helping me. So they've got like a mini that's just like it's like a 5 by 5, which I always do every afternoon before I have my nap. It just sort of like lulls me into this like peaceful. So I do that one, and then before bedtime, this was going to say it could be a recommendation for you. I do
Ooh,
the quick crossword, which is probably maybe like a 12 by 12. It's so doable, but it transitions me from day into night.
Mm.
Just, oh, I love it. And they're free and there's a big history of them. So, and then also they've got beginner cryptic crosswords because you know how mum is so good at cryptics.
I'm glad
It's
was
like a
too, and I cannot work them out.
Yeah, this is so good. So it is like a training program for cryptics,
That's
and like I'm starting to get it. And it's too far to reach, but I actually bought my own crossword book the other day. But
oh,
I'm recommending The Guardian, the crosswords. If you just want to get off with you want to be on your phone, but you don't want to be like consuming, rubbish,
yeah.
get yourself a crossword addiction. The second thing I'm recommending, I thought I would go with the show, which is $1 Billion Playground. Did you ever watch that?
I've never heard of this show.
So one of my like Instagram friends, my parasocial relationships, reached out to me last year and was like, "Have you watched this? You need to watch this." And essentially, it is an Australian reality TV show, so you can watch it on Foxtel or Binge. But it's about this group of employees. I love these like work shows, like Down Under, but it's kind of like Below Deck, but it's a group of Australian employees, and they take really, really rich clients and take them for holidays
Oh my
in
god.
incredible locations in Australia. Like there's stuff
Oh,
that I like these places that I was like, I want to go there, I want to go there, I want to go there. Obviously I can't go there. But I hope they renew it for another season. There's a really hot gardener.
I've heard of this
It's
show. It sounds
I
like
know. And I wouldn't have known it if like my friend hadn't messaged it to me too. So it's $1 Billion Playground.
$1 Billion Playground. Maybe they should
Or
call it
Binge.
$1 Billion Holidays, and then I would have been like, "Ooh."
Yeah, I just it didn't get the buzz that it needed. I mean it's I'm doing something while I'm watching it, but I just don't feel like we get to see enough Australian shows where we get to see our own backyard. Ask me about the Cotswolds or the Hamptons, I know, but I don't know the Australian equivalents. So,
I know, it's so true, and, like, since I've moved to Tasmania, I used to live in Brisbane, then New South Wales, and then Tasmania. I keep going further and further south as a climate refugee. It's actually blown me away all the things that are here, and they're easy to get to because it's a
yes.
small island, but it has made me feel extremely, um, like, just silly that I haven't explored more of Australia. So I'm definitely gonna give $1 Billion Playground a go. That sounds really good.
Well, we're just tired people. There's so much to do for two people who are so tired. We just have to be kind to ourselves.
We're so excited, but we're so tired, and we
Well,
just
I
don't
need a
have
nap now.
those 2 things together, so we just coexist. Thank you everyone for listening. I've had the best time. Thank you, Sophie, for being, like, the best co-host.
Thank you for being the best like cousin in the whole world and making us do this. Just bear with us. It is our first episode. Please give us some feedback. Give us anything you want to tell us. We're ready to hear it, and hopefully you love it. And we'll do it all again next week.
We will. Bye, everyone.
Bye.